So see your interpretation, see how it is from your culture, and also from the culture that it originated in. Some ways to do this are text analysis tasks. For example, take 2 articles on education, one from England, one from Senegal, and you can see the differences in the cultural perspectives. Training for habitual questioning is really valuable. So students should always be thinking, what is familiar, what is unfamiliar, and why? And why it might be seen differently from different cultural others in a different context. Students can develop this habit, and it's very, very useful. Cultural detective activities, where students have to interpret cultural cues. Could be from short videos from YouTube, could be from dialogues, brief, but what's in there? What's the cultural content there? Some ways to promote it are, oops, I decided to do it this way. Okay, we'll talk about that in just a second, but the other skill, or 2 skills, savoir prendre, faire, skills of discovery, interaction. It's the ability to acquire new knowledge and to interact appropriately in real time. So Byram put these 2 things together. They could be done separately. Obviously, there's many ways to acquire new cultural knowledge, but he thinks it's very, very special in actual real-term interaction to be noticing things and trying to incorporate new knowledge based on the interaction that's happening right now. So learning by doing is a key to Byram's approach to ICC. And some things you can do for this are tandem exchanges, pen pals, video calls, online forums with students abroad, simulation role-play tasks like create a homestay situation, an international job interview, study abroad, some kind of scenario from a study abroad situation in an English-speaking country. And the final one is training in intercultural questioning strategies. This can be very valuable to train students in. Polite ways of asking about unfamiliar customs. This custom is strange. How can I ask about it without offending the person? How can I get the information? It's important to get the information, but it's also risky, dangerous. So that kind of thing. And clarifying misunderstandings. Because in real-time interaction, there are many misunderstandings. How can they be clarified? Okay, and then, yeah, okay, I got both of these, good. So, the final one is kind of an amalgam of some of the others. It goes, same ideas, it goes a little bit farther. Savoir s'engager is the ability to evaluate critically perspectives, practices, products in other cultures and one's own culture. Have to be willing to evaluate. Evaluation is a little bit dangerous, but it's not cultural relativist. You can evaluate different cultural practices, your own and others, but you need to do it specifically and systematically and in a way that doesn't cause trouble. Debates can do this. Should schools require uniforms? This would probably be interesting to your students. How does our society and a different society handle environmental issues? Another category is critical media literacy. You can compare across cultures, advertising, political messages, gender representation, and finally reflection journals. You can evaluate cultural practices in relation to specific values that you think are important or that other people think are important. For example, fairness, equality, sustainability, and many others. Students think a little bit more deeply about these things. So so we can't talk anymore. Finally, here's Byram's vision of the model. What's important to see here is that these things are kind of interconnected, as you could probably tell already, and that they have a particular relationship with the traditional idea of communicative competence, which, of course, needs to go together with it for students to communicate effectively. You should know about this. A particular task or set of activities that you can use to develop these savoirs in your students. This autobiography of intercultural encounters is an extended task based on one intercultural encounter that a student has had. And there's a version for younger learners. It's freely downloadable with all kinds of support materials. But sometimes some students in some contexts don't have a chance to have face-to-face or direct intercultural interaction. In that case, they've also developed this other set, images of others, autobiography of intercultural encounters through visual media, where you just see, it's the relationship, what you're getting in terms of cultural experience, cultural learning from some kind of media. And it just requires a little bit deeper reflection on things that you've seen. And there's also a version for young learners as well. Okay, for 2 takeaways. I think that ICC is worth considering throughout your teaching process. Curriculum, syllabus, lesson planning, moment-to-moment teaching. I think it's worth keeping in mind, especially cultural comparison. It's always possible to compare. And the idea of decentering. Not ethnocentric, but thinking in terms of equality. And I think what's really important, because teachers are busy, constrained, is the fact that these 5 savoirs can be developed through small tweaks in existing practices, things that you're already doing. By adding a little bit of consciousness, tiny bit of addition or modification, you can work on these things. If you have any questions, it'd be for later.